Good morning and welcome to the 2022 first garden tour of the year. Yesterday I hosted the first official Mount Airy Greenies Garden Club meeting. We did it here at the homestead. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it got cut short, so we didn't get to do a full garden tour. So I figured I would go ahead and do one of my garden tour videos so anyone who wanted to watch could kind of see what's going on at the homestead. A lot of things have changed since I last did one of these videos. So I will start with what has changed in the front. My driveway currently is a chaotic project mess. I will flip the camera around so you can see what is going on in the chaos zone. So we got a chip drop. We have made a dent. It went all the way from the fence to here. It was like 20 yards. We have made a dent. All of that wood collecting, I am building a glass greenhouse. I am about to start the construction on that. If we go around the car, there's more dirt, more mulch. But I have glass windows. They are steel frame, really nice double frame insulated windows. Very, very nice windows. I also have gotten some screens so I can actually air out the greenhouse from time to time when the plants need some air, or when it gets too hot. I also picked up from Mount Airy free page some glass French doors. So I'll be able to put 2 doors on the greenhouse, one on either side. And then I also picked up some fencing so I can extend the area where the chickens are because they are getting into everything. Over here needs a little bit of cleanup, but I've picked up some more climbing roses that I'm gonna add to a really nice seating area. Currently, as you see, I have done the no cutting of my weeds method because I've been harvesting and drying and, making tinctures and whatnot. I showed these last year, my 2 herb beds where I've got the marshmallow root, the lemon balm, the catnip, parsley, catmint, sage, chives, and one of my many varieties of mint. I think last year I had 17. I did kill 2. I killed the strawberry and I killed mojito. I did find mojito again. So that means I killed another variety. I can't remember what variety I killed, but I did kill another variety because I left them in pots and they actually didn't get to develop their roots enough before winter and they wound up dying. And I cannot remember for the life. It might have been like a lime variety or something, but it did die. I will try to remember what it was, but I'm trying to get strawberry again. So I've got these beds still going. I picked up a bunch more of these because if you haven't tried them yet, they are amazing for making beds. These have been my absolute favorite. My herb and flower oasis up the driveway is still going great. I'm about to replant my zinnia seeds up here. If you didn't see it last year, it was absolutely gorgeous. I've got a ton of cilantro coming back. It reseeded itself and it is all coming back. So this whole thing in about a month will just be crawling with cilantro, the whole bed. Oh, and there's a bunch of dill coming back as well. So this will just basically be a dill cilantro bed for probably 2 months. It usually happens until mid-June and then it gets too hot, it bolts, and then I let it reseed for the following year. So that is this bed and it goes all the way. And the side. So that is the front of the homestead. And also right here we have I'll show you the varieties. Our French prune is a semi-dwarf. It's not gonna get very big, which is why I put it in the driveway. And that is here. I planted these last year and they're actually doing really well. I do believe this one was the Italian variety. Yes, this is the Italian dwarf. So those are here. So I have the two different varieties there. Cut across. We'll come over here. Now, if you didn't know, this happened during the winter and fall. We had an oil tank that leaked into the ground over on the side of our house, and we had to get rid of our oil tank. We had to do oil remediation, and the entire side of our property over here got basically mangled and destroyed by the trucks coming in and out. So we are trying to refix the soil over here because they absolutely destroyed it, and I'm not one that really cares about grass. So I decided I'm going to be making a pathway from here all the way to connect there to the other path. So the other day, someone was listing free flagstone. So I went with my car and did a ton of trips and picked up all of this free flagstone, which you don't know, flagstone's pretty expensive. So I was very excited. I picked all of this up. It was an entire 6.5 hours worth of me going back and forwards and hauling it. That is our new oil tank. I decided no more in ground, I can't do it. These are our apple trees. This was the one that we planted the very first year we moved in. So this is the 3rd year that it has been in the ground. So we're hoping this year is the year we get fruit. It said on the 3rd year this one was supposed to get fruit. I cannot remember the 3, well, that one definitely is a pink lady, but I cannot remember these 2 varieties. If I go back to my last garden tour video, I do say in the video what they are because they did still have the tags on them, but they've grown too large at this point and they popped their tags. So I can reference the old video and figure out what varieties they were. But I know that one for sure is a pink lady because I bought that one specifically for Jake because that is his favorite apple. But this one this year will most likely get fruit. I'm very excited about that because this will be our first fruit bearing tree. And now we will go towards the back of the property. So now we are entering the back. We've got more wineberry. I've only got 2 wineberry bushes. We kind of keep them, one in the back, one was in the front by the well, because Jake really loves wineberries. So I do like growing them. We've got our large rose bushes. I was going to say I like to make the rose hip tea and everything with those. And so I recently had to put a fence because the chickens were throwing mulch. It only stopped them temporarily and then they got right back in there, obviously. So we're trying to find some solutions. I've got all my citrus here. It's regrowing leaves because you see that mangled mess here? That was the citrus greenhouse. There was a windy storm a few weeks back, and my citrus greenhouse that used to be up against the fence got completely thrown through the yard, and that is that. And I'm trying to figure out a way to dismantle and maybe save some of the parts, but this is literally what happened to it. It mangled and all the pipes busted, and that is what the wind did. It wasn't rusty like this until it broke and all of that. So that was fun. This is one of our compost areas. We have several. So I've got 2 bins right here. This is where we put our black soldier flies. They do amazing. They break absolutely everything down. They are dormant currently. They will start to wake up soon. I just planted these 2 more apple varieties. I still have the tags on them. So this is Cortland and Golden Delicious. These were clearance trees at Walmart at the end of the season last year. They were clearance for I think $10, and I hadn't planted them yet, and I decided to keep them in pots over winter, and at the beginning of spring they were still doing great, and so I threw them in the ground. And this was another little bed that I made to put those in the ground. Chickens have decided they would like to eat all the bulbs, so I'm finding another way to block them out. Over here, I'm doing a little bit of garden cleanup. This was a a very mangled bed. I had to pull everything out. I'm still trying to get the hostas out, and there were some irises in here I'm still trying to pull out. This is supposed to be turned into my native butterfly bed. I'm still pulling everything out so that I can put everything in. This tree here, and there's a bunch of bamboo that I went and picked so that I could use it for the garden. This tree here is rotted from the inside. It got a fungus, which unfortunately spread to the maple tree next to it. But it started to rot. We didn't get it in time. We've got to cut it down. As you can see, it's on the entire side of the tree. Let's see if it's current. I was trying to see if I can find a spot where you can see it, but over winter you couldn't really see. You can see it really in the spring. There's also some mint growing around the base. No, you can't see it. There's like a mushroom fungus, and it goes all over the base, and you can really see it in the spring and summer, but it's like a black fungus. But it absolutely decimated the tree. And it's rotting from the inside. It's actually got a really cool animal nest in the top here, and they live all the way down in the tree. Like, they can kind of go like full down. I'm pretty sure it's like hollow probably to here. But we're gonna cut it to where the mason bee tree part is, and I'm gonna turn it into a gnome house. And then this entire area is gonna be like native butterfly with a fairy garden in it as well. So that is one of the plans for this bed. We are gonna completely block it off from the chickens. We're gonna have a fence and a gate, and that is the plans for that. I'm also gonna put a clawfoot tub as decoration here so I can use it as a photo backdrop. But I also have witch hazel here, and this is my spice bushes that I planted this past year as well. They are the native ones. So let's go over this way. This is another area that I'm working on cleaning up. While I was cleaning up through everything over here, I'm in the process of pulling everything out of this old greenhouse that is absolutely decimated by the wind. I've had this for a year now, and the wind destroyed it. There's holes, micro holes everywhere. So if you really, really care about the environment and the whole microplastics thing, I would say when you're looking into getting one of the plastic greenhouses, do not get one with one of these covers, because these covers, if you live in a windy area, these little holes will pop out. I would say get one that has one of the solid plastic covers, because that is less likely to happen. Also, I had a bunch of aloe in there, and I opened the door one day, I came in, and the chickens decided we would like it on the floor. So now I have to repot all of the aloe. Chickens, we'll get to them. But this entire area where this greenhouse is where I will be building the grass greenhouse. This bush is gonna go, it's an ornamental. So this whole area, the greenhouse is either gonna be 12 by 12 or 12 by 16. I'm still drawing out the plot and like drawing out the plans and all of that. But it is going to be right here. But yeah, so we will start heading down this way. We've got our wood chopping area. I clearly do not cut my grass until further into the year. I like to leave the violets and the dandelions, and I actually free spread clover all through my yard. I've got several varieties. My favorite is the red clover, which is absolutely beautiful. If you do not have red clover in your yard, please buy some, please spread it. It is gorgeous. The pollinators go crazy for it. Let's show you our fruit trees over here. I am in the process of making this whole yard edible, herbal, and medicinal. So everywhere you look, there's going to be something you can eat, something you can use to heal yourself, or something that you can just kind of, use for some sort of purpose. So here we have one of our nectarine trees. I do not know what the variety of it is because I cannot remember, but he's one of our nectarine trees. We have a Hail Haven peach right over here. Funny enough, last year it actually did get a peach, I was a little sad that it got a peach because it put all of its focus into the peach. So, but I wound up pulling it off so that it could focus a little more on growing. But I didn't realize it had the peach. It was hidden under one of the leaves. And then I found it when it was like probably 3-4 inches big. And I was like, oh no. But this is this little guy. He's a Hail Haven. And then we have this little guy over here who's growing all sorts of funky. He was a little savior peach that came from a pit, but he's growing all sorts of weird. So I'm going to probably figure out some sort of pruning to fix him. These are our chickens. We've got 2 coops. Well, 3. There's one inside that run. They are still inside. It's, I think it's 9 o'clock right now. I let them out of their coops. They actually have the freedom to come out of their coops first thing in the morning and go into the runs, which both runs are completely predator proof. They have roofs made of hardware cloth, sides hardware cloth. They are trenched into the ground about 8 inches, so no predator can dig in. All surrounded completely with giant stones down about 8 inches. Nothing can get in to the runs. We have had some rats try to dig. They can't get either. However, I do not let them out of the runs until in the early spring, about 10:30, 11 o'clock. We have had quite the hawk and fox problem. They absolutely go crazy for chicken buffet. So we've gone from 50 to 32 chickens from the fall to winter, or late fall to winter to like springtime frame. So we have learned you have to keep them out. Actually, I came out here at around 8:30 and there was a fox just sitting at the top of the hill. So we do not let them out. We learned a picnic table. Down here we have our mushroom logs. I want to do a different method. Actually, one of our friends, I just watched them, did like the stacking method, which I've seen. It was, oh, I'm going to have to tell my friend Beth, I do have the white variety of wild violet. Now I just need the yellow. Oh, and my puppy is out. This is Zella. Hi, Zella. And there's Dexter over there. Many of you have seen Dexter. Hi, Dexter. They were inside. So I do have the white variety. All right. So these are our mushrooms. I get a lot of wild mushrooms, which are the inedible ones. Different, non-edible varieties on them. The ones that are like over here standing up are the ones that I've actually plugged, which are oyster and shiitake. And then any ones that are standing up are oyster and shiitake. These ones, the bigger, fatter ones, are also plugged with oyster. I do get oyster every now and then, but once they get infected with something else, generally you can't get the oyster anymore because the other stuff just kind of takes over, which happens after a while. Let's see, I get a lot of wood ear and a lot of turkey tail on all of these. I also have the bad variety of honeysuckle along this fence line. I keep it contained to just right here just because I like, reliving my childhood just a little bit when it comes to honeysuckles. So I keep a probably about 10-foot section of honeysuckle just so I can relive, have a little bit of flowers every once in a while, just sit out here and suck on honeysuckles. Let's see. Let's go back this way. This is all my roofing that's supposed to go on the chicken run. We're gonna put metal roofing on top. Hi, girls. They're like, we see you out here, let us out. And that is not happening. All right, let's go to the grand tour of the garden. On the outside of the garden here, we have pears. We have Asian pear and we have Bartlett pear. The Bartlett is going to help pollinate the Asian pears. And once we walk in here, the garden has changed greatly. So I did raised beds. In-ground was what I did before. I got really tired of weeding. So I decided I was gonna do raised beds around the entire garden, make my life easier. This year I picked up these metal garden beds from Walmart for $5 each. It was fantastic. They are rust resistant, made me very happy. But they're very nice, $5. They're very large. I bought 12 of them. I'm still in the process of filling them with dirt. So I decided to put them all around my garden to give me some extra planting. So I have a lot of different stuff growing. I picked up these from Walmart, very nice. I've got to build another one still. I'm trying a new method of doing potatoes. A lot of people have done it before, obviously, but I am doing the dirt and straw method just to see, how my yield of potatoes differs from my normal just in dirt method. But I am still doing the dirt over here. And I am going to do just my regular mound method as well over there. I haven't even started that yet. But I've got carrots going. I've got peppers going. I have several varieties of kale, several varieties of chard. I've got tomatoes going, eggplant. My grapes are about to start going. I have Swiss chard, onions. I have my broccolini, and I've actually got some heads on the broccolini. It's my favorite. I do so much better with broccolini than I do broccoli. I can't grow broccoli. It gets infested with bugs immediately, but broccolini they stay away from for some weird reason. Got a ton of onions going. I've got all of my Asian greens, Asian Delight, pak choi, and regular pak choi. Because we make a ton of Asian dishes. I've got all of my different greens, spinach, arugula, just regular lettuce. I'm about to plant my beets in the pool. I've got to add more dirt to that. I've got more garlic. Finally, I have some rhubarb. I've got my goji berry. I'm about to plant my toilet planter. This year, I have my garden gazebo, which was a fun project. I'm going to build another set of beds here. I've got my hardy kiwi coming back. My grape orchard I need to do a little bit of work on, but the grapes are coming back. They're looking beautiful. I have a row of cherry bushes. I have Romeo cherry and Nanking. I have my entire row of the blackberries, several varieties of raspberries. I have some elderberry here as well, which was just a random one that a bird dropped and it decided to grow here. But I have a ton of raspberries and blackberries. I think I even have a yellow variety in there somewhere. It all just kind of grows here. I'm planning on putting a pond under the weeping cherry right here. There's a little bird bath, another table. Here is where I just did a raised 36 by 4 foot strawberry bed. I have a green tea bush. I have 11 high bush blueberry bushes, which are fantastic yield. We dug this up last year and planted them as a row from a blueberry bush farm that was going out of business. This is my addition from last year, the asparagus bed. And all of the asparagus is coming in. I am actually letting it all go to seed. I'm going to collect a couple, like these little fatties here. I'll collect those this year. But most of them I am letting go to seed so that I'll get more next year. I just did this garlic bed, but there are garlic and shallots. And then there's a bunch under the ground. I had a friend, Janae, come and she helped me plant all this fresh garlic here. But it'll probably come up closer to the fall. As you can see, I also do not mow here because I want to attract the bees. All the bees you see here, however, are not the kinds you generally want. They are carpenter bees. They will actually help pollinate the blueberries, but they are pollen leechers from regular bees, and they will actually slit the side of the flower of the blueberry and make it hard for regular pollinators to come and pollinate the blueberries. They will do a good job at pollinating the blueberries. However, like I said, they will make it so other bees make it hard to pollinate them. So it is good that I have all these blueberries right here where all the carpenter bees come, because I will get a great yield of blueberries. But I do wish I did not have as many carpenter bees. But unfortunately, this entire fence line is rotted, and there are way too many holes for me to fill, and split rail fencing right now is far too expensive to replace. So until we can figure out a solution for replacing this entire line of fencing, the carpenter bees will remain. And we do have 2 carpenter bee traps, but the fact that they fill up so quickly is just, it's not practical. We have another elderberry and a little herb bed. We also have herbs spread out throughout the entire property. Here's more asparagus, more grapes. Along this entire fence line is going to be loofah, and along that entire fence line is going to be birdhouse scourds. We are also going to be doing peas along every fence line, and Malabar spinach will also be along every fence line. So we will be utilizing every inch of space in this garden. So yeah, that is my garden tour. Thank you for watching. We are going to be growing and expanding as the year goes on. There's so much that I have to do, so many projects that I have to do. It is a constant project. There's always something that I think, oh, I could do that, and then I decide to do it. I'm kind of learning, like I have ADHD, but I also have OCD. So I'm constantly coming up with something, starting it, and then getting it halfway done, moving to the next thing. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do one thing at a time. It is a very big learning curve for me. So we'll see what all I can get accomplished this year. I'm also doing a lot with the Mount Airy Community Garden. I have a plot there. All the stuff I grow at that plot is going to be donated. So it's going to be a very exciting but very busy summer. I will do more of these updates as things grow throughout the year. But if you have any questions about things that are growing in the garden, or any questions on how to do things in general, feel free to comment or reach out. Thank you. Have a great day.